Hi everyone, 26th of October, it's a Thursday, 26 past 11 AM here in Australia. Here's my latest video blog. I haven't done one for a week, I think, only because I've just been allowing all this fork stuff to happen, and I have been keeping my eye on the news, and I've got a few tabs open as usual. I'm going to run through some stuff, pretty much going to cover what I see happening into November and leading into the new year. We've got lots of things happening. We've got forks, we've got some pretty crucial news that I'm going to talk to you about today. There's a whole heap of, I suppose, uncertainty and fear in regards to what's going on with the markets. We've seen the alts pretty much go horizontal, if not retrace pretty hard. With all the fork. Bitcoin has hit an all-time high, and it's come back a little bit since the Bitcoin Gold non-event, the sort of fork that didn't really meet anyone's expectations. And I think the reasons why is just that you've got to look at these forks a little bit harder, and what depth do they actually have. And I think they are disrupting the whole market quite a lot, and I think it's confusing a lot of people. Now, back in August, we saw Bitcoin Cash. Now, Bitcoin Cash was supported by a mining group in China, one of the biggest, Bitmain and Yihanwu, and there's a lot of money there, a lot of support, a lot of local support, and there were a lot of reasons why that fork was going to play havoc with the markets, and that's what we saw. We saw Bitcoin take a big surge. Let me just bring up charts. Yeah, we saw Bitcoin, do a massive run leading up into the fork, and all the alts came back, and sort of correlated with the actual price, and they sort of leveled out over that particular month. And on the 1st of August, we saw there was a bit of a fork, and Bitcoin just kept going after that. And I think there was a lot of speculation about where it was actually going to go, and then we saw a big retracement, which was always bound to happen. And we're now into pretty much the third wave of this year. If you want to look at it, we've got 1, 2, and 3, and we're coming up into another fork. And I do believe this one's going to be pretty strong and quite aggressive, because Segwitx2 or ×2 has a lot of support, a lot of supporters, so there's a lot of miners and a lot of I think invested interests looking at both directions. And the futures market for Segwit, I think it was around about, the other day it was about $1,000 US. So people will chase that, especially if you're going to get free coins on the split. And if people don't understand what that means, if you've got X amount of dollars or X amount of Bitcoin in your wallet at that particular moment when the fork is or the block is actually secured and the fork actually happens, you'll get a certain amount of Bitcoin gold. Well, that's what it was happened just the other day, but the one that's coming up is the Segwit2. Now, going back with the Bitcoin Gold, it was a bit of a non-event, because we saw the big run, we saw the alts come down, and what happened was, I think it was a very deliberate, there's some big boys at play here, and I keep talking about it, but they do have the capacity of affecting the market, and they did pull and push down the alts to a very to a low for that particular time right in here, and we saw it's actually this one here, this little spike here, and what we saw was that once Bitcoin Gold announced that they weren't actually doing the fork, they'd already done a private fork a couple of days earlier, the market swung back, and people just actually started buying back in alts. I totally missed it, didn't even think about it. No, I actually missed out on a bit of a position on some of my alts because of that. So that's where trading can be quite a risky business. But it was a fool's gold event, in the sense that Bitcoin Gold dropped about 66%. So this is where you've got to be careful when investing in, I suppose, perceptions or entities that you don't know enough about. Now, I didn't buy any. I wasn't, not that you can buy any, but I didn't chase Bitcoin Gold. But I did do some trading to try to ride on the big alt dip, and I did okay, and then I missed it. So there's a couple of things that I turned up on the wrong side of a couple of trades. So be mindful of that. Now, another big rumor is we've got Amazon. Now, this is not news in the sense it's not new news. I mentioned it a couple of, I suppose, a month ago, that it's possible that it's going to happen. And there's been more talk about Amazon actually making an announcement today in a German newspaper. So it says something that Amazon will announce a Bitcoin-related innovation Thursday. Now, I think Amazon's come out and just not denied it, they've just said, oh, well, we will do what's in the best interests of our customers. So that's what I believe is actually causing a little bit of a run here in Bitcoin. There's no doubt there's some inside trade. There's no doubt this is just a natural part of the market. It did bounce back after the Bitcoin Gold non-event, and we're seeing a recovery. Now, Bitcoin is on a massive bull run regardless of these moments in time. And I don't think it's going to slow down for I don't know how many years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, there probably will be a point where new legislation or something comes in to disrupt its path. But at the moment, I can just see it doing what it wants to do over the next 2 years. So Amazon, will it be announced today that they're going to add that to their payment options? If it does, I think Bitcoin's going to have a massive run leading up to the fork. Now, getting towards this fork news, we've got Segwitx2. There's a really good article on Cointelegraph called Bitcoin's Upcoming Segwitx2 Hard Fork Put in Layman's Terms. Now, I'm not going to go and read this out to you, but it's quite a good little article to give you a little bit of an understanding of what it's all about and why this one's probably going to be quite aggressive. Now, what I do believe, based on what I've seen on the chart there, I think the surge has already started for the next step up for Bitcoin. Now, if that's going to happen, I think Cliff High talked about the 3rd or the 4th of November being a crazy weekend of Bitcoin trading. Now, normally, that's in response to something that's late news, and I think what we've got to look at, the smarter investors have already got in, and that they're in a week before, and I think that's happening now. So 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th of October, I think is when, if you're not investing in a bit of Bitcoin or moving some of your alts into Bitcoin, not advice, but I will share with you, that's basically what I'm doing for this particular event. I've decided to move a percentage of certain crypto or alts and put it into Bitcoin and turn off my phone, don't look at my portfolio until about the 14th and 15th and 16th, which is about 2 days before the fork, and I'm going to look at getting out of Bitcoin a couple of days earlier. I'm not going to chase the Segwit hard fork, even though I probably could benefit from some free coins, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to benefit from some alts that I'm sort of I have a little bit more support for. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and it's going to be a bit nerve-wracking because I don't normally do this type of thing. It is a little bit of a risk. However, I think holding on to Bitcoin is not that much of a risk in the scheme of things when you look at how it responds on the markets. So what do we got? Segwit2, that's that. Cointelegraph. Why isn't that clicking? Technology, that's already on that. That'd be right, clicking the same thing. I was talking about these forks, and there's going to be another non-event, I believe, is Bitcoin Silver. Now, I think that's in December now. I think that's going to be a bit like Bitcoin Gold. There's these companies coming out and trying to create some energy towards alternative Bitcoins. Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Silver, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin everything. There's all these different ones, and you go and have a look. And I think the only ones that are going to succeed are the ones that will get support from mining and those type of things. And sometimes it takes time. In 5 years' time, we might be looking back at Bitcoin Silver and going, wow, it's done really well, and it could be at the same level as Bitcoin is now. And we just don't know. It all comes down to researching what they are actually providing. It's a pretty cool little picture here with the gold and the silver coming off the main feeder of Bitcoin. And sometimes I look at these forks and I start thinking it's a bit of a Ponzi scheme. The love of Bitcoin is it's only meant to be 21 million coins. Now, when you go and create a fork, there's another 21 million coins. So there's 21 million coins of gold, 21 million of silver, and that sort of depreciates the value of Bitcoin if you think about it. And it's all about the energy and attention that goes into not only Bitcoin but other altcoins. We've seen all these ICOs just drain attention away from particular alts that were doing really well, and then it just got saturated. However, I think that will all settle down in the next period of time. So that's all I really wanted to talk to you about, was just that we're leading up into the fork. So in summary, I think the Bitcoin run has started now. I think on the 3rd or 4th will be a crazy weekend based on what Cliff High says. Just from him saying it, I think that'll create some energy as well. He's sort of in that position now where he's almost into some predictive programming. So I'm organised. I'm already into it a week early. Then we're going to lead up to the 18th of November. There should be a big surge in Bitcoin. If Amazon news comes out, it could be just crazy, a crazy 2 weeks. Alts, I think, are going to get hammered. Apart from the alts, have got their own ecosystem, and I think there's particular alts have got some big news coming out. They've got their platforms being released. I think it's Salt, Populous. There's a couple of others, and I did have my Telegram here. I think Gav wrote, yeah. So PPT, OMG, PLR, which is Pillar, and I think it's Pillar, and then Salt. I think they've all got relative parts of their technology coming out, and the only thing is, I think this fork is probably going to overrun a lot of that energy. Because the big boys will, they play a safer game. They're not necessarily going to worry about a smaller alt. However, just keep your eye on the news. I do have my Telegram group. I've got 24 people in there. Crypto news and insights. Sometimes we do crap on a little bit, but we're pretty good. We're having some pretty good conversations in there. So if you want to, and we do share a lot of articles and little snippets, and I do a lot of screenshotting and sort of sharing with you stuff like I am now, and maybe a little bit more personal stuff in regards to trading. I don't want to go and put that into my videos. I don't want to be seen as giving advice. I'm happy to share with people what I'm doing. But if you want to join crypto news and insights, yeah, I'll put the link in this video. Or you don't have to. I mean, again, you don't have to contribute. You can sit there and just read and scroll through it, and with something, a gold nugget's there, and it adds some value to your trading or your crypto experience, and I think that's a success. And if you don't feel like jumping in and contributing, that's fine. We know that you're watching from afar, and that's cool. Maybe one day you will. What else have I got? That's pretty much it. Just leading up to November, fork, December, Bitcoin, silver, pretty non-event. Christmas, people will take their money out. January 1st, gold, silver probably will race up, real gold and silver. That's what's happened on 2016, 2017. I'm expecting it to go gangbusters in 2018. 2018 is the big world reset of some sort. I think it's going to be lots of chaos in the sense of the financial markets, and a whole heap of just dilution of energy and lots of distractions. And if you don't have your eye on the game, I think 2019, 2020 will come and go, and you'll sort of go, well, how come no one told me what was going on? So that's why I do these videos, just to sort of share little glimpses and little bits and pieces. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about Bitcoin Gold and these forks and silver and all this type of stuff. What can you see in the next 2 months? Feel free to put a paragraph down below to get people talking about perspectives, because I think it helps everyone. We're all in this together, and we're all learning from each other. So thanks for watching, guys, and tune into my next video. Thanks.